80% of what you do every day has almost no impact on your life. Now, this might sound harsh, but it is true. Most people never learn the difference between being busy and making real progress. Now, in this video, I'm gonna break down the AIM method. AIM. A simple framework I use to make sure my time leads to tangible results. Now, A stands for attention, which is the foundation. Now, once you understand these three levels, AIM, you'll be able to identify the activities that are taking up your time every day but are not contributing to your goals. Now, if you don't want to be wasting as much time as you have last week, take out a notebook and take some notes, and let's go.
Part number 1, A for attention. Attention is your most valuable resource, not time. Now you see your day's actually decided by your first 3 commitments. More specifically, your attention commitments. Before you even realize it, first thing in the morning, your brain locks onto different things. This could be 2 to 3 things in the morning, like phone, messages, checking something, tasks, stress, and everything after that is already set in stone. The way you start the morning dictates the way the rest of your day goes. Now, if you start your morning reacting instead of acting, this is where you fall into the trap. And this is where you waste time later in the day without even realizing it. And if you waste more time, then you waste more results. You don't get to your goals. It feels so hard to break out of the plateaus, to make more income, to live a better life, to achieve that physique that you want, and pretty much everything. So once your brain locks on to 2 to 3 things, which are bad negative inputs, like, you're checking messages, you're checking your phone, you're checking emails, everything after that is just reaction instead of direction. And the thing is, most people, they never actively choose what they put their attention on, what gets their attention and what doesn't. And because there's no real direction, there's no real, focus and awareness as to where the attention goes, it just feels like your attention is being siphoned from anywhere and everywhere. That notification steals your attention away from the task at hand, and before you know it, you can't focus. That scrolling session where you just doom scroll to avoid your problems and procrastinate, that took your attention away from your goals. And there are so many things in your environment that just steal your attention. So the question is, if you were able to guard your attention, then how much more time would you be able to allocate to your biggest tasks, to the deep work, to the habits, to the very positive ROI things, like reading, journaling, meditating, exercising, breath work, deep work, and anything that helps you get to your goals? Your life would be so good. Your life would be amazing. You would have the dream life in less than a year. And that's the power of using your time. And that's what happens when you stop wasting 80% of your time and you actually make these changes. So think about this for a second. Are you choosing or are you enduring? Because you only have one real focus slot at a time. And even if your to-do list has 10 things, there's actually only one thing at a time getting your full cognitive attention. Everything else just cannot be productive at the same time. You can only do one thing at a time. There's no such thing as multitasking. Multitasking is a myth, and I'll tell you why. People like to glorify multitasking because, you get more work done in the same amount of time. But what multitasking actually is you're switching so rapidly between one task and the next that you think you're doing both of them at the same time, but you're just switching within seconds. And what happens when you keep switching tasks so frequently, so constantly, and so quickly is you're getting better at that. You're getting better at shifting focus away from what you're doing towards something else. And the more you do that, the better you get, and the more you train distraction. That is what multitasking is. It is a myth, and it is going to destroy your focus. So to effectively manage my time in the best possible way, what I've found that works the best is to not sit in the middle. Don't be a 50% guy. Be a 100% guy. From 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., this is like my 9 to 5, which is allocated towards my most important tasks. I'm putting full focus on the work. I'm not getting distracted. I have a few breaks, which are not even phone breaks, and I'm just focused on getting the work done. Sometimes I finish earlier. I'll start work at 9 and I'll work throughout the day and maybe get finished everything by 4. And then the result is I can fully switch off after 5 p.m., 6 p.m. And that's what you want. You want to be able to fully work and then fully relax. The common productivity cycle, the trap, is actually people, they don't get enough work done throughout the day, so they have to work throughout the night so that when they go to sleep, they realize that they haven't actually rested. They did not recover. They did not let their dopamine system rejuvenate. There was no reward. Everything was just split between effort and reward, and there was no real effort and no real reward. And as a result, you trick yourself into thinking you are being productive by spending so much time throughout the day doing things that don't take so much time, and then you feel burnt out. So I've transitioned into the full work-rest split, which means I allocate 100% of my time and effort and energy towards working when I'm working in the first half of the day. In the second half of the day, maybe more like the last quarter, the third quarter, I'm focused on just resting and doing things that allow me to reset. So that when I go to sleep, number one, I can sleep better and I can sleep earlier because I'm not working late through the night. Number two, I wake up and I feel like, okay, it's time to get back to work again. I had my rest, I had my recovery. I watched that TV show I wanted to watch. I went out with friends and I just did what I had to do throughout the day and I earned myself the reward. Most people confuse presence with progress. Now that's where you need to audit your attention. Take out a notebook just like this. And it's not just about tracking distractions. That's the distraction audit that I talked about in another video. It's more about tracking what you intentionally choose to focus on throughout the day. Track where your attention goes. What are the tasks that you chose to focus on? And if you didn't choose it, it chose you. And that's where a problem comes. That's where your attention is being siphoned. You need to actively choose what you put your attention on. It's okay to watch YouTube when you choose to watch YouTube, right? It's okay to watch a TV show when you choose to do that. Intentionality is king, and most of the time, the problem doesn't arise in what you're doing, it arises in how you're doing it. Most of the time, you're watching YouTube when you actually wanted to work, when you planned to do deep work. You are scrolling and watching short form content when you planned to finish that project. You're watching a series, TV show, you're taking a break when you plan to do something else. And that's where the biggest cognitive dissonance comes in. So to fix this, work hard and play hard. When you're working, work 100%. When you're resting, rest 100%. And intentionally choose to focus on what you want to focus on. Don't let your attention just randomly happen to wander to something else. Choose what you focus on. So in one sentence in the comments below, let me know what your biggest distraction is. So one piece of advice is actually investing in yourself. Think about, what is the number one constant between everything in your life? It is you. You are the person who shows up to the gym. You are the person who shows up to your business, to your personal life, to your relationships. Now, if you were to change one single thing to change everything, what would that be? That would be yourself. And that's why investing in yourself is one of the best decisions you can ever make. Investing in your education, buying a better gym membership, spending time with better people, investing in better clothes and amenities, and most importantly, investing in your own skill set and education and mindset. And that takes me to part number 2. I for investment. You see, investment is anything that pays you back in the future. If it doesn't change your life in the next 6 months, it's probably not an investment. Most people, they actually call everything important. They think everything has high level of importance. But if everything is important, nothing is important. But real investment is something that compounds over time. Skills, systems, health, mindset, discipline, all of these go into shaping the person you are becoming. And if you change the person behind everything, then your life will improve. That is why identity and discipline are so important. Your level of success never exceeds your level of discipline. So for example, watching content, reading, or even learning, these are time investments. You're putting your time into something. These are only positive time investments if they change the way you think afterwards. If they upgrade your self-image in any way, or if they upgrade how you think or your motivation to do action. Otherwise, if they don't positively contribute to your goals, then they're just consumption in disguise. They're just entertainment. And entertainment is fine, but it shouldn't be confused with work. Anything that you spend your time on throughout the first half of the day that does not contribute to your goals is entertainment. And that should belong in the second half of the day, not the first half of the day. You should split your time up into 2 days. You have 2 days every single day. 24 hours, the first 12 hours and the second 12. Or more accurately, minus the time you sleep, split that time up. Now the first half of the day should be allocated 100% to work, to getting things done, to anything and everything that contributes to your top 3 goals. And the second half of the day can be a little bit more light work, a bit more relaxation, and should actually be entertainment. This way, you're getting the best of both worlds. You're resting and you're working. You're getting to your goals and you're giving yourself time to think, to reset and reflect. Now, a good time investment actually makes your life easier. You do fewer things with better results in less time, meaning you work less and achieve more. A lot of people chase the hustle culture of working so hard, but the truth is hard work does not equal success. Hard work in the wrong direction is the equivalent of driving a very fast car, a Ferrari or a GT3 RS or whatever sports car. With no navigation, you have no idea where you're going. You're just driving very fast, probably in the wrong direction. Now, if you drive very fast, the faster you drive in the wrong direction, the longer it's going to take you to get back to where you want to be. So if you work hard without systems, without actual proper needle moving tasks, without proper allocation of your time, you're working hard in the wrong direction, meaning you're expending your brain points, you're expending your energy without seeing real results. Now, the biggest shift comes when you realize you don't have to work hard, you just have to do the right things. You just have to select a few things in your life, the top needle moving priority things, and spend 80% of your time on them. And then you can spend 20% of the time that you have on like admin tasks, on entertainment, on things that, don't really move the needle. It is the Pareto's principle, the 80-20 principle that we all know and love. 20% of the results you get come from 80% of the work, which means most of the work you're doing actually isn't doing much for you. But actually, 80% of the results, most of the results come from 20% of the work you put in. So it's about finding that 20%, finding the needle movers and spending most of your time on them to see the most results while putting in the least or the same amount of effort. So where investments come in is you need to realize that every single thing you are saying yes to Every action you take, every task you do, it is a time investment. And now if you say yes to something, if you say yes to reading for an hour, you are saying no to whatever else you could be doing in that same exact hour. So ask yourself, what am I saying yes to where I could be saying no to so I could bring in something better? If you're saying yes to 5 hours of entertainment and procrastination, you are saying no to potentially putting 5 more hours of deep work into your business, which would result in you seeing that 10K a month, the 20K a month, scaling your business, getting more results. You will get to your goal faster, maybe even 5 times faster. So the question is, what do you want more? Do you want temporary pleasure, or do you want long-term results and rewards? Instant gratification or delayed gratification? Now, time investments in the right way will multiply. That is where multiplication comes in. Part number 3, M for multiplication. Multiplication isn't improvement. It's replication and leverage. So using a wider, grander scale, improvement means you're getting better at doing something. Multiplication means that one action creates multiple outcomes. And that is without repeating the same effort multiple times. You see, if your output resets when you stop working, then multiplication doesn't exist. Nothing is multiplying. So a job, a task list can be pretty productive. But if you stop the action and the results go to 0, then you're still working in a linear system, not a multiplied one. In that way, you're still a slave to your time and to yourself. You see, multiplication happens when value gets tied to systems. Any amount of habits or deep work that you do should yield compounding returns, meaning that if you work for 6 months and then you stop, the results should not go to 0, they should continue to multiply. This is the difference between, if you have a business, between it being a business and being just a glorified job. You see, an actual business is one that has systems that run without you, meaning that you have people who are working and doing everything that you don't have to do. You just have to manage those people so that you can easily step out and everybody's already doing the tasks. They're already handling everything. So the business is still running with or without you. That is a real business. A fake business is one that relies on you. As soon as you step out, everything stops. Income stops, revenue stops, there's no actual work being done. That is a job, not a business. The goal is separation between effort and outcome. Now, I have a lot of videos that go into depth into systems, like this one right here. You see, at a low level, effort equals result. But at a higher level, effort starts to trigger result. And at the highest level, effort is not required for results to continue. So a 3-line recap. Attention decides what enters your life. Investment decides what improves your life. And multiplication decides what outlives your effort. Now, you have the exact framework, but here is where most people go wrong. Now you know how to identify where your attention is going through doing an attention audit, writing down exactly every single task, every single hour of every day, running yourself through that so you can find out exactly where your time is going. Now, once you have that, you know exactly which activities are true investments and which tasks and activities are low quality investments. But information alone doesn't create results. Action does, implementing what you learn. Now, the people who see the biggest changes aren't the ones who are comfortable staying the same. They're the ones who will do whatever it takes to get to the next step, to change their life. They're the ones who learn and consistently apply. Now, if you want to put the AIM method into practice, if you want to stay accountable and surround yourself with winners so you can eliminate all procrastination, all distractions so you can get to your goal as fast as possible, then check out the link in the description below where I show you the next step in 3 minutes. There's a short video over there, watch it. And remember, the best time to take action is right now and not later. Your level of success never exceeds your level of discipline. Take care and you got this.